Hey, what's up guys, Tenma and here, and I'm here with another, why you should read or watch video. I should just basically make that, like, an official series. I should probably make a playlist of that, because that's about, like, half of my videos are, like, why you should read this series, why you should watch this series. But, this one specifically is on another Naoki Urasawa, which I've done a why you should read 20th Century Boys video. But now this is gonna be for, his series Monster. Just finished Monster finally. I've been wanting to finally read this series for years now, and I said after 20th Century Boys, I'm like, oh my god, Monster's gonna be like within the next 3 manga I read. Didn't happen, and I was like, at least in 2020. Didn't happen. But in 2021, I started off very strong with the series Monster. So I really wanted to make a video and talk about it because it's just another masterpiece by Urasawa. So this video is going to be completely spoiler-free. It's not going to be no spoilers, not a single spoiler in this whole video, because I really want to make sure everyone watches this that hasn't seen the series, goes into the series with a very fresh, clean slate mind, not knowing what's going to happen. The only thing I'm going to talk about, the general plot. It's a very simple, basic plot, similar to what you would read on Wikipedia or the wiki for this series, or My Anime List or something like that. And I'm also going to talk about what really makes this series special, like I've done in my past videos on like why you should read this series. I'm going to talk about specifically like why you should read this series. So this series is all set in Europe, majorly in Germany specifically, and it's about a guy, surgeon who's Japanese, named Kenzo Tenma. And Kenzo Tenma, he is very loved by everyone at the hospital. He's very skilled. He's a very nice guy. He's even engaged to the hospital director's daughter. So I was about to say wife, but that wouldn't make sense. But he's engaged to the hospital director's daughter. He's just an overall good guy. But one day, a boy who has been shot in the head is brought into his surgery. What do they call it? Surgical area. The hospital, I guess in general, for a more general term. And he's like, oh my god, I gotta get right onto the surgery. I gotta save this boy's life. He's in critical condition. I mean, he's got a bullet in his head. Anyone with a bullet in his head, in their head in general, is not in good shape. So he goes immediately. He's working on this boy very meticulously. But all of a sudden, someone comes into the room and tells him, come out here. I gotta talk to you. And the guy tells him that the mayor of the town has had a heart attack and he needs immediate surgery as well. So this is where an extreme conflict comes into play for Tenma as a character and for a moral dilemma in general. Does he save the boy who, first of all, this definitely factored in, he has a whole life ahead of him, and he came into the hospital first, and fair is fair. Or should he save the mayor of the whole town, who's very important in the town and objectively is probably more important than the young boy? And the director of the hospital, his father-in-law to be, is telling him, you gotta save the mayor. All the other higher ups are saying you gotta save the mayor, and so the good man that he is, he decides to save the boy. And this saving the boy leads to basically all the horrible events throughout the series, and turns his life around without him even realizing it. And that's because 9 years later, fast forward, not rewind, fast forward all the way to 9 years later, and Tenma finds out that this boy grew up, obviously, and he's now a maniacal, very meticulous, and smart serial killer. So that's everything I'm going to say about the story. And not one more word about that story, because I think that is one of the most, like, goddamn amazing premises for any piece of media I've ever watched or read or played in a game or anything like that. So I think, like, that was enough to get me engaged and interested for it for years. I guess not enough for me to read it right away, but it should be for you, because I'm telling you right now that I'm a fool for waiting this long to read this series. And the story premise isn't just one of the best things I've ever experienced in media, but also the story in general is. Just like 20th Century Boys, Urasawa is one of his other highly acclaimed works. It's it's incredible. It's fantastic. I have basically zero complaints about the whole thing. It's just spectacular. What mainly drives the series, though, is not the story, which is amazing enough. And for any series, if the story alone is that good, it's automatically like one of the best series of all time. But added in are the characters and how amazing and well written every single character. There's not one single character in the whole series that I do not like, and I don't think has an integral part to the story and to the emotional connection the reader has with the character. What I love about the characters in this series is every single one of them is lost in some way. Everyone has something that's happened to them or an affliction that's currently impeding them right now that they have to deal with and they have to find their way through. Whether it's a man who loses custody over his daughter because of the actions he made, or a girl who completely loses her memory and only has pieces in here and there of them, a guy who has struggles with like not having any emotions, has to teach himself to feel emotions and show emotions, or a boy who is abused by the only like adult figure in his life, who's not even his like legal parent or guardian or anything like that. Every character has something that causes them to feel lost in life, and every single one of them, almost every single one of them actually, but not everyone, finds what they're looking for in life in various characters or various plot points throughout the series. So the two characters I'm going to quickly talk about, briefly mention some really cool things about them. The protagonist, Tenma, and the antagonist, Johan, the boy that he saved from surgery. If you read 20th Century Boys, he reminds me a lot of Friend. He's a very mysterious, calculated, no one really knows who he is. There's some people that do know who he is, but for the majority of characters, they don't. If they saw him walking on the street, they wouldn't know that this boy is a mass serial killer. There's very specific parts of his character that are very intriguing, and like he's one of the best written antagonists of any series I've read, or anime I've watched, or really TV show, whatever. He's one of the best antagonists, I think. I'm not going to say very much more, just I don't want to at all delve into any spoilers for this series. But I also want to talk about the protagonist, who's Tenma. And Tenma's character is so cool because throughout the series, he struggles with whether or not to right the wrong that he unknowingly did at the beginning of the series, or follow his natural instinct that led him to commit the unknowing wrong that he did at the beginning of the series. And I think it's really interesting how he's such a good person at heart, and such a good deed, like helping the boy who got to the hospital first, was unknowingly such a horrible thing to do. So I would love to talk about every single character. I could go one by one and talk about however many, 30 of the characters that have very important arcs throughout the series that Urasawa focuses on. A lot of times you'll just be reading and every 10 chapters or so, there'll be a new character introduced, and it's like, oh yeah, this is just going to be a quick one-off character that's going to serve their purpose and then leave for the story. But almost every single character in the whole series has an integral need to be in the story, and also has a backstory. Like every single character, I'm not even exaggerating. Every single character by name almost has a great backstory that you meet, and so I don't want to say a single more thing about any of these characters, because I want you to experience them for yourselves and go into the series with only one expectation, that it's incredible. So yeah, that's the video here. Like I said at the beginning, I just didn't want to delve too into spoilers. Also, I think this might keep the video relatively short. We'll see. Been kind of recording for a while here, but I'm gonna edit it down and everything to be more concise. But yeah, Monster, incredible series. Please read it or watch it. The anime is just as good, I hear. I plan on watching it. Maybe I'll do another video, and when I do a video on the anime, when I watch it, I could delve more into spoilers and talk about specific characters, because and the plot's amazing, but the characters are really what I want to talk about, because like I've said constantly throughout this video. They're amazing. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and please, once again, I'm on my hands and knees, like every video, begging you, please read Monster. Please, well, not wrong. The other videos, I'm not begging you to read Monster. I'm begging you to read another series. But in this one, I'm begging you to read Monster, please. And 20th Century Boys. I gotta read more Urasawa now. Maybe I'll do that next. Probably not. But thank you guys. See ya.